Hello again. This is Corey. Probably more of our actual week one video here. We'll talk about the blog, Project One, and things of that nature. So I hope that you're off to a good start. I know that Blackboard's been experiencing some issues, so we should have those. Hopefully, they should be squared away soon. So we'll keep moving forward, and I'll keep trying to keep you up to speed. So I'm going to minimize myself down here in the corner, and as you'll notice here, I've got the Blog 1 Introduction, Discourse Communities, and Research Plan up here. You'll find this in your weekly task and assignments, and then under Week 1, and then Blog 1 that's due this Sunday night at 11:59. And with the issues that Blackboard is having, I would recommend that you get that probably sooner than trying to log on at the last second. So, this first blog asks you to really talk about the concept of discourse community, which you're reading in swales, either for today or maybe if you've read ahead, maybe you've already read some of that information about discourse communities, and that is really the key concept that we really need to think about. The Wikipedia entry also talks about discourse communities, and in Swale's article, he does make this really interesting distinction between speech communities versus discourse communities and what they do. So I'm going to bring up Swales here real quick and kind of highlight a section in this. So I'm going to start here. Thirdly, in terms of the fabric of society, speech communities are centripetal. They tend to absorb people into the general fabric, whereas discourse communities are centrifugal or centrifugal. They tend to separate people into occupational or specialty interest groups. And so it's kind of an interesting way to kind of think about this. Where speech communities, while we all may speak a shared language, and we have this interesting concept of what's called you can understand each other in the process of communication, what we call mutual intelligibility. In speech communities, a lot of times it's broken even further down into these discourse communities, where discourse communities actually, as it says here, recruit members by persuasion, training, or relevant qualification. And so one we might think of a special interest group. We're also going to talk about this as far as discourse communities are concerned. For this class, we're going to be talking about academic discourse communities. So to alleviate you trying to find some quasi discourse community out there, really think academically and what community is that you are joining. Are you in biology? Are you in psychology or social psychology or education? Or maybe you're in chemistry, whatever those are, your legal research, or whatever your particular field is. That's going to kind of help situate where your discourse community is, and then how you want to kind of find what it is that you are looking for, especially as the research guide asks us to do that. So let's go back to the blog. So kind of thinking about this discourse community, whatever your discourse community is, that's kind of where you'll want to kind of start. And thinking about what that's going to be. So, so the first thing you want to do is introduce yourself to the class. Let us know anything that you think is important. Describe your goals for the course. Identify one or more of the discourse communities you belong. And obviously there may be many, right? We have the academic discourse community, which is the one that you're going to write about. You'll have maybe another professional if you're at a particular job or a particular other place that you spend time, as well as all of the extracurricular personal discourse communities about which you may be involved. So in my particular case, I have my academic discourse community in which I'm involved in, more specifically, the Department of English, Rhetoric and Composition. And so that is a specific discourse community, and we employ certain vocabulary, language, other types of words, other types of lexis. We have a certain lexis that we use. Certain qualifications, membership into that community, etc. So you may have another one of mine would be cycling. I'm also I consider myself a member of the cycling community. There's definitely a particular structure, Lexis, membership, certain things that you do to kind of become a part of that. Why they might not be specifically written, or maybe there's not an official form that you fill out. A lot of these, by and large, a lot of times the discourse community will be where while there is recruitment, there is also a learning curve where you learn and you take on the language of that particular community in which to communicate. So let us know that. The second thing is identify the academic and professional discourse community you would like to research and write about this semester. Describe your prior knowledge about this discourse community. Use where you can the SWALES terms. And so let's look at the SWALES terms here real quick. This research guide scaffolding sheet I'm going to make available to you for Project 1, and we're going to use this when we go into more detail about Project 1 next week. All right, so introduction. So mechanisms of intercommunication. These, by and large, will be the journals. Participatory mechanisms. How do they share information through those journals or databases? Then there will be specific genres. Are they primarily argumentation? Are they primarily research? Perhaps if you're in the sciences, they might be research proposals. They might be research studies. It could be literature reviews, genres such as that. Lexis, membership requirements, so forth and so on. So those are kind of his basic, some of the basic language that he uses, as you'll notice in that article. So tell us what you know about that. If there's any gaps in your knowledge, you think that there are things that you still need to discover to know more about this discourse committee, which there should be. We all are continually trying to learn and find out more about that. And so which of SWALES concepts can you not yet identify within your discourse community? And that might be some things that will help you want to discover, and that is what that's what this research guide is all about, what it's for. And then the research plan for finding this information and further building your knowledge about the communicative practices in your discourse community. And then answering those two questions. I'm not going to necessarily prescribe you a particular format. I would draw your attention to, I think it's page 91 in our textbook. And so you can feel free to use that while it's your types of resources, location, and deadlines. Just kind of give me some sort of an idea. You can do it by table. You can do it by bullet point. However you feel, as long as you have some sort of an idea. The types of resources that you know you need, where those resources can be located, and then make sure that you are cognizant of the deadlines by looking at the schedule, so that you know that you have things that you need to get done as part of this plan to get those tasks accomplished. And so by reading all of the resources beforehand, reading Chapter 1, Chapter 4, the other couple of pages, and then SWALES piece that we have to read this week, should have all that information. Then you'll need to do some research on your own, perhaps, to really think and identify. It's imperative that you really kind of set up this discourse community now, that you are aware of what it is, what discourse community it is that you're going to join. So if you are specifically, while you might be a pre-med, or you might be in biology because you want to be a dentist, or you want to be a chiropractor, or whatever it is, that's the discourse community that you are intending to join. So while you might be in biology, or you might be in chemistry, it might be engineering, or a specific field within engineering that you are eventually going to join, and that will be the one that you'll want to look forward to. And so this blog will also kind of serve as a way for me to look at and see where you're thinking about, and we can make adjustments, because there is, while biology might be the academic field, the specific discourse community within that particular field may be something that we can tweak a little bit. So, that just don't try to narrow it down. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Make sure that you are narrowing it down as that one thing that you kind of want to eventually do, or what you're thinking about doing anyway. So, so that's the one thing you want to do by, let's see, Sunday night. The other thing you want to do is take the quiz. And so both of those are right here. I'm in the week 1 folder, week 1 activities. And so make sure that you read Project 1 thoroughly. And so, and then you also want to read, and of course, all of your readings are listed right here on the page, right? Syllabus, Project 1, all the sections in Wordsworth Guide, chapters 1, 4, and 5, concept of discourse community, Wikipedia, and having all that information will help you, give you a lot of support in writing the blog. Taking the quiz, read the syllabus. So you should be all set there. And so I think that does it for us for now. If you do have any questions, please do let me know. I've sent out a couple of messages regarding make sure you make those adjustments to your syllabus. We're not going to do the conferencing sessions, so no need to worry about that for scheduling wise. And then I will be in the process of making a more specific Project 1 assignment video, because we have a draft due next Friday, and I'll put some examples together and then provide you with that scaffolding information over the weekend at some point. So have a good Labor Day weekend. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll go from there. See you soon.